quite a sobering experience being here in the local churchyard. And that's today's gardening job, to mow the lawn, trim around the graveyards, hedge trim the yews you can see in the background. I've got a nice full day's work today. It's sobering, of course, for what a graveyard represents. Doesn't matter whether you're religious or not. One of the local farmers popped over and had a quick chat with me, and he mentioned that a few of his friends were here. And interestingly, as an aside, he said many of his friends had died not so long ago from pancreatic cancer. All of those friends were farmers, and both he and I agreed that the likely cause of that was probably some form of pesticide, because certainly when he was farming and his friends were farming, of course they wore very little PPE, and we know how toxic these chemicals can be. So those poor guys, that's not a good way to go, is it? So anyway, that's not the purpose of today's video. There was a few subjects I wanted to bring up, but I think let's just stick with the one. And this one, I'm going to change it from a sobering experience to a somewhat amusing experience. As every learning opportunity I have quite often is amusing for me. And last week I succumbed to a cold virus. This doesn't happen often, as you know. In fact, seldom, in fact. But I think this was probably a result of my 5-year-old sleeping next to me, breathing his germs in my face, even though I have my mouth taped up. Anyway, I knew early on that I had succumbed, and I did something that I have done in the past. I decided to just crack on, get on with it, and do what was essentially a couple of days of pretty physical work, with the assumption that I would just simply sweat it out. And I learned something from that experience. Now, a week and a half on, still with that same cold, that probably wasn't the right idea, because actually what happened was I then started to get a bit of a fever. I felt very I wouldn't say weak, but certainly lacking in energy significantly. I could do very little. My brain was foggy. I started to get a kind of a sinus headache. Anyway, I think I blew this cold into something much bigger simply by overworking my body, my physiology. So that's a lesson for me, and I hope it's a lesson for you guys too. Sometimes it works, I do think sometimes you get a cold, step in a sauna, but that's a different thing, isn't it? You step in a sauna, you're not doing any physical workout. So all your body's doing is getting a chance to heat up and hopefully sweat out some of the bad stuff. But yeah, I was 2 days maticking a garden, and it really was pretty full on. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I know now that possibly wasn't the right course of action. Anyway, I shall be breaking my fast now with a good fair selection of food. And interestingly, I decided to have some carbs in there. I don't normally with my lunch, but I've got a real mix of blueberries, grapes, avocado, beetroot, greens in the form of broccoli and beans. Yeah, real mishmash. So I'll get back on now with my grass cutting, mowing, trimming, hedge trimming, chatting to the birds. being mindful of all these folk around me. Evolution of Dave signing off.